Hello everybody, I'm Austin. You guys definitely have probably seen me around this channel. I'm going to go over my Tifa the Martial Artist deck here with Ivan. So I'm not going to go over the basic lands because I feel like that is something that, and the dual lands or whatever lands you use for coloring fixing is probably going to be about the same no matter which deck you end up doing.
Yeah.
Besides, like, obviously I'm running Cavern of Souls in here as well, but
Yeah. What does Tifa do?
so Tifa has melee. So melee is whenever you attack an opponent,
Yep.
she gets +1/+1 for each different opponent you're attacking. So in a traditional commander game, to say, she at maximum can get +3/+3 because you have 3 opponents you can legally target.
Gotcha.
For attacks.
Yeah.
So she'll go to 7, which means that she'll trigger her own ability, which is whenever one or more target creatures you control with power 7 or greater deals combat damage to a player. Untap all creatures you control. If it's the first combat phase of your turn, there is an additional combat phase after this phase.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. But if you don't, you're going to need to obviously pump her up.
Yeah.
One utility land that I like having, and obviously not everyone can have this, it's about an $80 land, is this Yavimaya Hollow. So it taps for colorless, but that's not the reason why you play this, obviously. You play this for the green tap to regenerate target creature. For those of you who don't know what regenerate is, since Wizards has not printed regenerate quite a while, is that you remove the creature from combat, it's tapped, and the time it would be destroyed, it's not. So it's very good against like Doom Blades, any not Wrath of God. Wrath of God doesn't care. Cleansing Nova,
Yeah.
Fumigates, all that stuff.
Doesn't get around farewell though.
Doesn't get around for a while,
Or
but
exile effects and all that.
yeah, but there are other things for that
Yeah.
effect. So yeah. I run a Cleansing Nova just for the option, the modular option of all artifacts, enchantments, or all creatures. Our Devastation in here is actually quite cheap. I'll explain it later as I get to the cards that do work interestingly well with our Devastation. Our Devastation is also, I think, the only damage board wipe that gets around Indestructible. Just because all the creatures lose Indestructible as part of the resolution of the spell, and the damage is also attached onto that resolution, which means they can never gain Indestructible anytime before the damage is dealt.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Just for the turn though, right?
Just for the turn, but like
Okay.
usually, like, you know, when you have like a Blasphemous Act, people
Yep.
can get Indestructible on it, but because all creatures lose Indestructible until end of turn
Yeah.
is a part of the deal 5 damage, they can't get Indestructible at any point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, while the spell's resolving.
Ooh, it's spicy card then.
Denting Blows is in here, obviously just K-Grip, just the Arcane. One Blasphemous Act. This deck that I built is not extremely wide, and it does deal with any of the wide decks that I will probably go up against, like a Thursday Night Chimera Knight or Hugo's Vampires or any other deck like that.
Yep.
One Beast Within, just because it can target any permanent, more so than an actual like just removal spell. Sometimes you need to get rid of Field of the Dead, sometimes you need to get rid of an enchantment. Just kind of good universal things on top of being able to target lands.
Yep.
One Swords to Plowshare. One Decimate, for the same reason why I have the Beast Within, except that it hits every single target.
But you have to have legal
Yeah,
targets
you have to have
for
legal.
passive.
This is one of the ones where you have to have all legal targets for it. But most of the time, you should have all legal targets for this.
Yeah.
One Farewell to obviously have one Farewell. Can't go wrong with having a Farewell in your deck, unless you're an extremely aggressive deck, I guess.
And I'm assuming you're playing that more as a way of kind of catching up.
Yeah,
in
it's a
case
reset.
something goes
a reset.
awry,
Yeah,
right?
a reset. But also, like, you don't have to choose all of them. You can choose one.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah.
it actually give you that option?
It's one or more, Ivan. It's one or more.
Oh.
Most
I've
people,
never seen it played for anything less than all, so
It's modular.
okay, that's cool.
So we have Carney T here. Carney T is here just because he can't be countered. He has Trample, Hexproof. He does have the 7 power that is required for Tifa, so he will activate her by himself. Very tough removal. Used to be a standard all-star.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Sublime Archangel is an interesting card here. I think that a lot of people won't realize that why I put this in here, but specifically because Exalted is until end of turn. So let's say if I swing with Tifa and I have like 2 other creatures out, she'll get to 7. She'll keep the +1/+1 from Exalted. So then
Oh,
I can
really?
attack with everything else because Exalted lasts until end of turn. The +1/+1 that you get from Exalted. So you have multiple combats. You can kind of like stack somebody to be towards lethal and then kill
Oh,
someone.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a static +1/+1.
Yeah.
Not okay.
No, it's not stack +1/+1. It's for each other creature. So depending on how many you have. So Tifa will trigger herself too. Other creatures you control have Exalted. So if it's just Sublime Archangel and Tifa, she
Yep.
goes up to a 6/6 when she attacks, and then she gets the melee. So yeah, she just gets a 7. And then she keeps that, and then she goes to her next combat.
Yeah.
If you attack again with her, she gets another +2/+2,
Hold on.
and on top of the additional melee.
What's the melee again?
Melee is whenever you attack an opponent.
Yep.
For each different opponent that you attack, you get +1/+1.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
So she's usually gonna get +3/+3.
Yeah.
Hold on. So with that angel out,
Yeah.
we +3/+3 plus the +1 plus an additional +1 then.
Yeah, because she also has
She's getting
Exalted.
+5/+5 then.
Yeah, if you can legally hit all your opponents, let's say you have 3 creatures out because that's how you're required. And obviously, I have an Ancient Copper Dragon in this deck, just for the same reason why anyone would have an Ancient Copper Dragon in their
Sure.
deck. If you don't swing at anybody, because the Exalted only procs when when a creature attacks alone.
Oh, okay.
So let's say Tifa attacks alone. She'll get +1/+1 from her melee. She'll get +1/+1 from her own Exalted, additional +1/+1 from the Sublime Archangel, and additional +1/+1 from the Ancient Copper Dragon. Because they each have Exalted off of the Sublime Archangel.
Oh,
Yeah.
it stacks like that. But
Yeah.
okay.
And then since it doesn't fall off until end of turn,
Yep.
since if Tifa triggers her own extra combat, she retains all of that. You swing with her again, she gets an additional. I keep reading melees until end of turn, and if it can proc multiple times, I'll have to read that up again. But she'll get an additional +3/+3 because the Exalted triggers will trigger again because Exalted only looks for whenever a creature you control attacks alone. It's attacking alone again.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, so she'll get multiple Exalted triggers on additional combat phases.
Yep.
Makes you really, really big. One regular Tifa Lockhart in this deck. This deck is a Naya deck, which means that's probably base green, which means that you're probably going to be running a lot of ramp. I do run, if the Moxie is correct, I run like 19
Yeah.
ramp spells, even though they count Ancient Copper Dragon as a ramp spell, so it's more like probably 15.
Also, if you do want to see a deck tech on
Ivan
this
has,
Tifa, you can
Ivan
click
has,
on this little button up here.
yeah,
Right
Ivan
there.
has his own Tifa deck, really. One Vincent Vengeful Toner, just for flavor's sakes, even though he is really great too when he gets to 7 power, he becomes a Omnivore Hydra, which means that he hits everybody for the same power. If he deals damage to an opponent, he deals that much damage to all opponents.
To
as well.
everyone else,
Yeah,
yeah.
when he gets to 7. And he gains power. He gets +1/+1 whenever you deal damage to your opponents. Which means he'll only get 1 instance of it unless you have First Strike. Because he's just counting with the instance that you deal damage. But he also, unlike Omnivore Hydra, does come with Menace, which is, I think, better.
Yeah, it's relevant.
One Shivan Devastator, just in case I need to have an additional hasty guide come out with whatever power I need him to be.
Well, it's an extended R1 too.
Yeah, it's another one.
Is it for? Oh,
Yeah, it's foil. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta get the bougie one. I didn't realize that was that came in an extended art version. That's sick.
Yeah, Down United. One Elder Gargoth. I think you're playing a big green deck. This is kind of just a staple card.
Yeah.
And he actually dropped down in price. Remember when he first released, he was like a $25 card?
Yeah, I think we had a buddy named Andres who had. I'm pretty sure he pulled one of those out of like a. I don't know if it was a collector pack or what the deal was, but it's like a foil extended art one, and it was like $80. It's like $100 for a minute there.
Yeah. And
Great,
then-
great card though. Great green card.
It's extremely versatile. And then one Dragon Lord Atarka, just for a flyer, trample, and gets rid of any toughness 5 or less, or if I ever need to deal 5 damage to the face. No, it doesn't heal the hit face. But yeah, it gets it gets over things, gets rid of things that won't block. One Terror of the Peaks. This is a kind of big creature deck, so it's nice to have non-turn stuff sideways damage.
Yeah.
And the one thing I always forget whenever I play Terror is that Terror does bolt people that target it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Whenever another.
Well, it doesn't bolt. They
Additional.
cost 3 life, so you don't deal 3
So
damage.
it's like a tax.
Yeah, it's attacks.
Oh.
And then one Questing Beast. The Questing Beast is, I would say a lot of people wouldn't run the Questing Beast in any of their decks. And the reason why I run it is because I'm kind of a psychopath. Because I like to always have outs to a lot of things, and
Yeah.
Questing Beast gives me an out to fog effects.
Because it has that damage.
Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. And that's the main reason I have it here. Because this deck, unfortunately, would lose to any fog effects.
So you cast the fog and it just
It does, yeah.
negates it then?
Yeah, because negatives override, override non-negatives, essentially. So if something says you can, and then something says you can't usually override the cans.
Is that like a layering thing?
It's
Sort of.
It's more like just a rules kind of like thing when it comes to like language. One explore, one cultivate, a search for tomorrow, a far seek, and 3 visits.
Nice little ramp package.
Koltha, unrivaled ancient. This guy is pretty much, I think, the secondary commander for this deck, and I'm gonna put him to the side because I understand why he's an expensive card, because he is kind of really dumb. I don't think Wizards design team understood what they were doing when they designed this card specifically. So we will leave him to the side here.
Where's it from? I don't remember that card.
He is the sub commander for the Gruul Dragon deck from Adventures from the D&D set.
Oh, gotcha.
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
He is the secondary commander. One exploration, which Edge of Eternities did release a artifact version of this, but it's not as good. Not even close, in my opinion, because it requires stationing to be able to play the additional land. Yeah,
it's a lot.
1 rampant growth. It does cost 1 green though.
How much does the stationing cost on it?
I think it's 2, so you need to get 2 power to be able to play additional land.
You're jumping through extra. I mean, it's hoops that are being
It's
jumped
not
through.
the worst. It's not the worst,
Yeah.
but it's too slow for how you want exploration to work. 1 shadows in the warp.
Great card.
Unfortunately, I don't see this coming to anytime soon, like any of the other Warhammer cards.
Yeah.
So,
Like Universes Within.
yeah. 1 Great Henge, another really expensive card that I opened when it used to be like just a $40 card, because it used to be like a $40 card on Elden's release or something like that, if I remember correctly.
It used to be only a $40 card.
I mean, have you seen how expensive it is now?
It's almost like $100.
It's worth more than the Sylvan Library.
I remember Sylvan Library was really pricey
Yeah.
for the longest time.
Yep. 1 Garruk's Uprising. A lot of creatures in this deck are 4 higher. 1 Harmonize.
The Miku.
Yep. And then 1 Guardian Project, which I was talking to Ivan earlier. I'm surprised that Wizards have reprinted this more.
Yeah.
I think it's just in the set they came out in and the Fallout Commander deck. 1 Arcane Signet. And 1 Myro Shadow Grave, which is in the same vein as Questing Beast. Just saying no to people attempting to interact before combat or anything on my turn. Especially in this deck that has no real responses. 1 Atlan Jackal, which I think is kind of underrated. To say that would mean that he is good, and I think that I don't think people should go all the way to get it. But if you have the Warhammer deck, the Tyranny Warhammer deck, and you have this card laying around, I think you should be playing around with this card, because it is a good ramp card, especially since it comes in with haste and trample. One Delight Halflings, same reason why I have a Cavern of Souls in this deck. Don't want to be wasting turns attempting to recast Tifa to fight through this deck. One Birds of Paradise. One Xenagos, God of Rebels, which, well, Koth makes 8 mana because Koth is only equal, when he attacks, is equal to the power of the attacking creatures. Which is really dumb. Which is really, really dumb, and I'll tell you later. Fire is a Yavimaya, another haste enabler. Fire Crystal, haste enabler, cost reducer,
Pretty looking card.
and a fun token generator. One Rhythm of the Wilds, right. One Morag Akum, another additional combat phase. Aggravated Assault. You can get Koltheth to 5. You can and nobody can respond to it. You have infinite combat combat.
Oh, because this dude's creating mana,
Five,
right?
yeah, he gets the 5 mana on attack, and then you can just untap this. I mean, not untap this, activate this ability, and then go over and over and over and over.
So at what point do you activate this? So you go to combat, you make the mana, because this is mana created upon attacks, right? Again.
Yep. Upon attack, you go to the power.
You go to its power.
You go to the power of total attacking creatures.
So then would you, like, I guess, like...
It doesn't matter when you activate this ability because you go back to your main phase and your secondary main phase and just activate this.
And even if someone goes to destroy the aggravated assault, you could just pay into it.
Yep. No, you can't into it because it's only a sorcery.
Oh.
Yep. Only as a sorcery.
Oh, really? Okay, so you would do... Hold on, how does that work then? If you can only activate during
Because your combat phase, you don't go into your end step. You still have a main phase after your combat step.
Okay, so you attack, you create the 5.
Yep.
If he somehow has either +1/+1 or he's like bumped up by +1/+1, so you attack.
Yeah, because you always have all extra combats. I'm pretty sure like all additional combat phase cards give you an additional main phase, so you can always just keep looping them over and over and over and over.
Yeah, because you go to main phase 2.
Yeah, no, but they always create their own main phase too. They always create their own main phase.
An additional main.
Yeah,
main
they
phase.
always create their own main phase afterwards.
Spicy.
1 round 2, which is just another additional combat with flashback. 1 Bloodthirster, which is once again another additional combat phase card.
That's a good card. It's an expensive card too.
Yeah, Waves of Aggression, which is also another additional combat phase card, but you can cast it for retrace, because you can keep casting it over and over and over as long as you have lands in hand and mana to play it. 1 Domri, if you can't read this, it says that creatures you control have +1/+0, and then you can add 1 red or green. Creature you spend this mana to can't be countered.
Nice.
I don't really care about the -2 part. The only part I care about is the plus. 1 Heroic Intervention, 1 Clever Concealment, and then 1 Unnatural Growth. So beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So as you can see, once you get additional combat phases, you get really, really big creatures.
Yeah.
For no real reason, and then we'll call out. You have lots and lots of mana for no real reason either. Because
that's cool. Because it's at the beginning of each combat.
Same thing with Xenagos. The only downside to all this is that you need to be able to untap or have your creatures have vigilance. Because the Bloodthirster, if you guys didn't know, does not untap your creatures. It untaps itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it only untaps itself.
And then you get additional combat.
Yep. And then as long as you didn't attack that player, that same player this turn, you can have up to 3 additional combat phases. 1 Finale of Devastation.
Great
Can't
card.
go wrong with this. 1 Game Changer and Worldly Tutor. The Pandro the Hunger Dominus, which is essentially the same thing as the Unbridled Growth, except on the creature, that can also become indestructible. 1 Defiler of Vigor.
I think that's kind of an underrated card, personally.
What, Defiler?
Yeah.
I think
I think it's
Defiler's
quite enough.
fine, but the issue is that the Defilers, I think in general, because they're stuck to permanent, and it's not instants or sorceries as well. They're kind of limiting. The Defiler Vigor is obviously the best one out of them all. I do like the Defiler of Faith, I think, which is the white one that makes 1/1s instead of giving +1/+1 counters. But I just oftentimes the cost reduction I feel doesn't really matter half the time, unfortunately. Where you can turn one of your colored mana into a Phyrexian. One lightning, army of one, just doubling all the damage since she hits first the first strike, and then everything that hits after her doubles.
Oh dang, that's how it works.
Yep.
That's a new card.
Yep. Because whenever she deals combat damage to a player, until your next turn, if a sorcerer deals damage to that player or permanent that player controls, it deals double the damage instead. And since she has first strike, she hits before everybody else.
You don't have anything else that has first strike in this, right?
No, not. No, I do. Here's the next one. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. And the way Gisela works is that with our devastation deals 10 damage to your opponents and deals 3 damage to your creatures. Because she has all damage that we've dealt to permanents you control, rounded up. And she doubles all damage that we dealt to permanents your opponent controls.
I remember this card. Josh would play that
Yeah.
in his what's the angel?
Kalia, the
Kalia,
Vast,
yeah. Obnoxious.
God Eternal Ronus. This card is interesting. It's in tall decks. This is better than Crater Hoof in pumping and pump, but because it gives vigilance, it doesn't give trample. Crater Hoof has that edge over it as a comment. But it's just interesting because this doubles your creature's power versus Crater Hoof in a tall deck, which is usually probably what +3/+3 at most in big fatty decks.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give haste either. But this card keeps coming back on average unless it gets exiled. One Tifa's Limit Break. You just can't say no to triple target creature's power and toughness, I just gotta say.
Honestly, yeah.
On
It's a
an
great card.
instance,
I run it in the mono green Tifa.
The only issue is that she doesn't grant trample. One Eternal Witness for recursion.
The tattoo art. Sick.
One Martial's Anthem, also for recursion, on top of being an anthem. And unlike E-Witness, returns them straight to the battlefield.
Nice. Where's that from? Is that from?
This is the Fallout one.
Okay.
And then one Allosaur Shepherd. I was really tempted to put a Tsunami in this deck, but that just felt unfitting. For those of you who don't know, Tsunami is destroy all islands.
Yeah, I feel like that's very specific color.
And the number one thing about Allosaur Shepherd that I feel like when people play this is that they think that it's only creatures, it's green spells. So all your green spells are uncounterable.
This is kind of a meta call. Since we
Not really. I mean, you got 99 cards. I mean, there's always some extra cards that you're not actually really playing. Boros Charm, to be honest, Boros Charm in Commander oftentimes is literally just permanent you control, gain indestructible.
Yep.
You, majority of the time, never ever do any of the other modes.
Because the other modes are 4 damage to face or double strike, right?
Yeah. One Godzilla, Primeval Champion, to give trample at instant speed. And then one Sword of Feast and Famine to obviously keep combat going over and over and over again. And that is Tifa, the martial artist. That's my version of it.
It's pretty cool. Do you think, I mean, I'm assuming that, like, obviously, like, if you're adding more colors to a deck, you're going to have more options. Because how do you compare this to the mono green Tifa?
Compared to the mono green Tifa, the number one thing is that you have access to the ability to, in my opinion, to kill the entire table, because by being in red, just adding red gives you extra combat, which green doesn't have access to. And you have a lot easier access to haste outside of Concordant Crossroads and obviously artifacts, which every color shares.
Yep.
And then with white, you get board wipes as well as very specific targeting removal. Like you want to deal with enchantments, you got disenchant, you got Swords of Plowshare, you got Path to Exile.
Yeah.
Versus green, where you really, really lack cheap removal unless you have creatures out for fight spells and everything like that.
You're talking about like targeted creature
You know,
removal.
or just target creature removal.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have. I mean, you have access to K grip as always and everything for that. But like your creature removal is very light, and green usually lacks any real way of getting rid of any indestructible creatures.
Does green have anything that exiles?
They
They
so
have creatures that exile, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but they don't really exile creatures. It's like you try to deal with an Avacyn.
Yeah.
So there are, funnily enough, there is a Oath of the Gatewatch enchantment that does remove indestructible in green. It's an uncommon. Don't worry, you
Okay.
probably won't know it.
Yeah,
I
I
know
don't
it
know it.
because I have too much time on my hands. but yeah, there's that. And then I think by also being in red and white, you get like green has reach, but most of the time you don't want reach because for some reason reach is kind of like a premium keyword versus like just having flying, and you by having flying you usually have a lot better body and a lot better like abilities for some reason, in my opinion, from what I've seen and how I've experienced versus reach.
Well, you actually have evasion. Like you can be both.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you compare like a flying creature on average to like a creature with reach, the creature with flying is usually just like an overall, like an even in a vacuum, a better creature on most times than a creature with reach.
You think so? Well, I I guess it depends on the rarity level. Because what I've seen with like commons and like draft stuff.
I mean, just like in
the
general, because I
flyers
mean,
tend to be
like,
small.
I mean, I'm coming from like if you're building a deck selectively, like, and you're looking at like say, like a Tarka versus. I think Zapandro is probably one of the best reach creatures that they printed in like forever. But like, I just feel like, even like when you compare it to like a Bloodthirster or like even, let's say, a Tarka, Dragon Lord or Tarka, it just feels like it's not just as good. Like you place it in a vacuum, like I'm saying, or like you're just looking at it because like you even look at like the elder dinosaurs. I don't think any. I mean, only Zakama has reach. I think of all of them.
Yeah.
But like Zakama doesn't even deal with Zapendro, the flying double strike pterodactyl that was in pretty much every single lot of.
That is a Talpa or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what
Whatever it's called. Yeah, it
whatever.
was reprinted in like every
Recently,
standard
a deck
for-
that had
yeah.
white in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
it's just
and-
keyword soup too.
Yeah, it's keyword soup, and then like Zakama does like the only elder dinosaur with like reach can't even deal with it because it's indestructible. It doesn't care. The Zakama can block it.
There's that. Well, no, it's not an elder though.
Yeah.
There's the one white dinosaur that like it enters and it exiles.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was printed in. I think it was printed in the original.
Yeah.
Exelon and then
Yeah, that's
Rivals.
the thing about it. And then like adding like the nice thing about just being one color though is that you have the very simple, basic like plan, and you can just run every single time. But I'm someone who likes options, so I usually like playing at least 2 or 3 colors. Sometimes the only time you guys seen I do have a mono white Angels deck, but that's simply because I like the tribe.
Yeah, for sure.
And unfortunately, Wizards won't support 5-color Angels or 4-color Angels specifically.
Not yet.
No, I don't think they ever will. I am in firm belief that Wizards will not support 4-color Angels. I'm gonna say this right now.
Well, you could play Morphon or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not. I
an angel,
I don't
technically.
count like
shapeshifters.
cheating tribal and not playing like a tribal a commander that fits your typo deck.
Yeah.
Your commander isn't that typo, then I feel like it's kind of ruined. Kalia doesn't exist because Kalia is the bridge between three
Different creature
three
types. or whatever.
creature types together,
Yeah.
more so than anything else.
But it's also flavorful because that's like part of her lore.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So it like.
But yeah, Wizards will never allow you to play both Selesnya and not like I would kill for an actual like Naya Angel Commander too, but I don't think we'll get that either.
Or red, white, green.
Yep.
Does green have a lot of angel?
Yes.
It does?
So Celestian Angels are the
Oh, Sigarda.
Sigarda,
Yeah.
Shalai
yeah.
so the Celestian Angels are extremely
Okay, way off.
protective, are the
Yep.
are the like defensive angels, and then
Yep.
the Boros Angels are extremely aggressive, where you have all the extra combats, you have all
Yeah.
the burn effects and all that stuff. So yeah, but Wizards has not created any commanders that fit that into that. The closest is Myro, but then Myro plays every single creature that's power 4 or greater anyways.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, this is Tifa, and this is like that's the main difference between playing like a monocolored deck
Yeah.
versus
get this chick
yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you think about Tifa. What's her full name?
Martial Artist.
Martial Artist.
Yep.
Check that out.
Martial Artist.
Yeah, cool looking card, man. All right, Austin. Catch you in the next one.
Yep.
See ya.